12.1 Certificates of Deposit. Today we're going to use tables or formulas to compute the interest on a CD. First, we're going to learn what a CD is. What is one advantage of investing in a CD rather than a savings account? CD stands for Certificate of Deposit. Basically, you gain a greater amount of interest for your money than a savings account. One thing that you have to realize is that you have to put in a specific amount. I think at the bank that I go to, the lowest CD amount that you can buy is $1,000. So you invest a little bit more money in there, but you do get a greater percentage out. So a certificate of deposit definition, it earns a higher rate of interest than a regular savings account. Again, you have to leave your money in for a specific period of time. It ranges from anywhere from 3 months to 30 years. You are penalized for an early withdrawal. Usually for the time amounts, you call the bank or you go into the bank and they'll give you what kinds of CDs they have at the moment. You'll choose the amount that you'll put in there as well as the amount of time. Sometimes they have 14-month CDs. Sometimes there are 17-month CDs. Sometimes there was one that we had once that had a rate change of one time during the duration of the CD. So if interest rates went up, we could lock it in at a higher percent one time throughout that. That was just one of the specials that we were able to get into when we had one. Most CDs earn interest compounded daily, monthly, or quarterly. Flip back to your table on page A14. Notice along the side you have a list of percentages. They go up by 0.25%. It goes anywhere from 0.5% up to 13.25. It'll go on and on and on, but they've limited the table to that. Notice there's two sections of the table. One is the interest period for 1 year. It has 3 categories: daily, monthly, and quarterly. They also have an interest period for 4 years, and they do have those same daily, monthly, and quarterly amounts. Notice at the top, this is for every dollar that you have invested, so you don't have to divide by 1,000 or anything like that this time. You basically look at the amount or the percentage, you follow it over and pick the right section, 1 year or 4 years, and then you choose that big long decimal and use it. So first we're going to find the amount in the table. We're looking at 4%, and it is compounded monthly, and it is a 1-year CD. So we're going to flip back to A14. We're going to go down to 4% and go across to the first section of numbers in the second column, which is 1.04742. You take it times the amount that you have invested. You multiply those amounts out, and you get 5,203.71. Now that's the amount with the interest in there. So to calculate the interest, you subtract out the amount that you have invested. So $203.71. Be careful you don't always subtract out in the thousands, because if you deposit 5,250, you would subtract 5,250. The second type of question that you'll run into is one that deals with a formula. The R part of it, you will find by taking the rate and dividing it by the interest or the number of periods. So here's where you'll have to recall that table. Quarterly is 4, semi-annually is 2, and that kind of thing. The N is the total number of periods altogether. So you're going to take periods times the number of years, and then we'll incorporate that into the problem. So the rate per period this time, if we look at our problem again, it's the same question, only doing it in a different way. Your rate is 4%. and it is monthly, so we're just going to divide by 12. I'm not going to find the decimal because I like to incorporate that whole number into the problem. The number of periods would be 12 periods times 1 year, so 12. And to put it into the formula that we have above, A equals, the principal would be $5,000, 1 plus 4% divided by 12. That comes from up above, and the end part of it is 12, and that comes from up above as well. So you multiply that all out. You can plug it all into your calculator all at one time, and you do get the exact same amount, 5203.71. Sometimes if you use the formula versus the table value, since the table is rounded, you might be a few cents off. Don't be alarmed if that happens. And then you also have to find the interest once again. So 5203.71, subtract 5,000 from it. Now, number 1 is a little bit different, so I'm going to go on another page and also figure that one out for you. So question number 1. We have $7,500 in a 2-year CD. Now, the reason this one's different is because you have a 2-year CD. The table in the back only has 1 year or 4 years. So when it says 1 year, you look at the 1 year column. When it says 4 year, you look at the 4 year column. But when it says 2 years, you have to basically do the problem twice. So we're going to look up 6% compounded quarterly, and we're going to look into the 1 year. So 2 years would be a 1 year, and then calculate it twice. All right, so in the back, we're going to look at 6% and quarterly. So 1.061364. Okay, so we're going to multiply that out. You get 79.6023. And what we're going to do is we're going to do that one more time with that new amount. 79.6023 times that same table value that we just used. $8,448.70. And then we'll subtract out the initial investment. And you have a total of $948.70.